Okay, let's say we want to polish our frets. The next thing we want to do to make our guitar really awesome. Buy one of these babies. You can get from Guitar Supply place, or you can get it from eBay or wherever. Just a little stainless fret protector. You put it over the fret, you take your sandpaper. Depending on how rough your frets are or how much work they need, you start with a more coarse sandpaper. I wouldn't start with anything more coarse than a 600. So let's say we start with 600 grit. Put that thing on and count how many strokes you're taking, because you're going to want to do the same on every single fret, even if it doesn't need it. We want even wear. So let's say we're going to start with 600 and we're going to use 10 strokes each direction, pushing on this side and that side of the fret. Then we go to the next one. Then we go grab our 1000 grit. Dip a little water in it, because sandpaper, especially wet dry sandpaper, loves to be wet, as frets do. And we go there with our 1000. Then we get our 1500, then our 2000. Now if we want to go to 4000 grit sandpaper, don't go buy any. The back of the sandpaper, the paper side, is about 4000 grit. So take that, get it nice and wet, and polish up that fret. Here's the problem. We just made our fretboard filthy. Our fretboard was probably already filthy, so we're going to clean it. How do we clean a fretboard? Most important thing about cleaning a fretboard, know your supplies. One of the ways we clean a fretboard is with steel wool. If you're going to use steel wool, understand these numbers here at the bottom. 00 is the most coarse steel wool we want you to use on a fretboard. We'd prefer you to be a little more fine than that. Sometimes you can't find more than 00 at your hardware store or your Walmart or your Home Depot. If you can find more fine, get it. If you're going to buy it off of eBay, order more fine. 000, whatever. Don't go more coarse than 00. If you put a 2 or a 3 on a nickel fret, it will tear it up. It'll tear it up and make it real ugly. And then you'll go to bend and it'll go, and you'll go, ah, I ruined my guitar because I don't know how to do a fret job. I don't really like this. Here's why. When you've got your whole guitar bolted together and you're starting to get down here, you try to tape over your pickups and everything, but the little stray ends love to get sucked to the pickup because it's a magnet, and it'll sit there, and I hate when I get steel wool all over my pickup. So I don't use that. The next way is with sandpaper. Not the great way to go, but if you're also polishing your frets, then you can start with about 1000 grit, or this is 800, and just start rubbing along to get all the finger zhuzh off of your fretboard. Here's what I like to use. ScotchBrite. Again, know your ScotchBrite. Red is different from green. Green is different from, know which one is more coarse. If you're going to use the orange, which is, or the, whatever you call this color, maybe burgundy, Ron burgundy, you're going to want to rub not as hard because this is coarse stuff. So you dip it in your water and just start going side to side, not pushing very hard down, and you'll watch as you're cleaning off all of that finger zhuzh. Push it up against the fret nice and tight, and then you're going to go the other direction and push that up against the fret nice and tight. Again, I'm not pushing very hard. That's going to get all your finger zhuzh off of there. I don't have a lot of time on this, so let's just say I just cleaned the whole fretboard. Awesome. Got all the finger zhuzh loose. Now, take a clean towel. Take a clean towel. I like a light towel. Get a little bit of water on it and start to clean it up. Why do I use a light towel? Here's why. That will tell you if it's still dirty. You go to another section and dip it in the water and clean it. Still dirty. Okay, you do that until you're not getting zhuzh and dirt and grime on your towel. So let's say I've just gotten it and now I've got a little bit of color on my towel, but not a lot. Say I got to here. Okay. Now what we're going to notice is as I clean that off in through here, it's really light and pale and thirsty. If you can take a little bit of water or sweat and you can rub it on and it changes that much color, your fretboard is thirsty. These things like to be saturated with natural oils, or I'm going to use guitar honey. I'll show you what that is in just a second. But if they stay nice and saturated, they're going to last you a long time. If they don't, and you don't treat your fretboards nice, this guitar is not going to last. This guitar was made in 2001. Makes it 19 years old. I can get 35 more years out of this guitar as long as I don't treat it bad. If you see it real light like this, let's say I'm all clean and my rag is no longer getting me filthy every time I touch it. And we're going to take our guitar honey, squirt a little bit on there, and rub it into the pores. And then let it sit. Let it sit for, say 10 minutes or so. You're going to come back and there's going to be some really dry areas. And then if there's still wet areas, then work the wet into the dry and let it sit for a little while longer. If it's all dry, give it another spritz. Let it sit there for a while longer. You see it's not really soaking it in quite as much. Bring your towel back. Real rough wipe. That's all it takes. Boom! Your fretboard is ready. That's ready to put strings on and go. You can tell the color differences from what I haven't cleaned to what I have cleaned and not quite guitar honeyed. And then these last 3 or 4 frets, we see the grain of the wood like we want, but it doesn't look super thirsty, and it's well oiled, ready to give us another 35 years of good service. That was pretty quick, but I hope it helped. Also, if you're looking to sand and then polish your clear, let's say my clear is 48 hours old, and I want to sand and polish it, it's the same as a fret. You start with 800 or 1000 till it's nice and flat. Then you go to 1500, then 2000, flip your 2000 upside down, you're going to start to see it polished. Then go to your automotive store and get a polishing compound or a rubbing compound and use that. Buff it up and you'll see you'll get a real nice mirror finish. If you do have a polisher, you can polish that way. Most of us don't, so we're going to just use a towel. It's every bit as good. Your arm's going to get a bit of a workout, but it'll work just fine. That's how we get our neck and our fretboard and our frets ready to make a really cool guitar. If you have any problems with a fret or you have any problems with a fretboard, give me some comments down below. I'll try to tell you how to hit that. I've done, 1,000 necks and fretboards in my day, or fret jobs. So I've seen most of the problems, so give me a holler. But I hope this helps. We're going to make this $60 or $80 Craigslist guitar something awesome. So thanks for watching. Keep on rocking.